Good morning. I know what you're thinking. 8 a.m. is too early for a live stream, am I right? But if I don't do it now, honestly, I probably won't get it done. I get most of my shit done at like from 6 to 8 a.m. And then the rest of the day is pretty much me disintegrating. Anyway, I just came on here because I am super excited to finally have announced the mysterious programming for our Conscious Creativity event on Saturday, August 1st at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We are expecting the event to take about 2 to 3 hours. There won't be like a hard stop. We are putting together some ceremonies, some experiences, some journal prompts, some games to play, different kinds of activities that get us to be curious about the way that our own gender and sexuality shows up in the world, shows up in our interpersonal relationships, how it affects those interpersonal relationships, who we're attracted to, why we're attracted to them. There's like so much nuance, and sometimes it's kind of hard to parse through these things by yourself or parse through these things just with a partner, especially if like maybe you and your partner are both investigating your gender and you're both kind of like, I don't really know what's going on, but I'm curious. When you feel like somebody else has a vested interest in like being affected by what you choose or who you identify as, like it becomes really difficult and challenging to actually choose and like hear from your own body, how do I experience the world? How do I experience myself? Because there's so much weighing on that. There's so much like, oh, well, what will they think? Oh, well, if I imagine myself as somebody that's gender fluid, then this person that's attracted to me either has to embrace their queerness or can't be attracted to me, right? There's like all kinds of absolute fucking terror that go into like our gender and sexuality. It's not just how do I understand myself, but how will the people who love me understand me? Like, will they no longer be attracted to me? Will I, I've seen like, it's not just couples that have a heterosexual partner. I've seen like queer unions fall apart too, because it's like maybe one person is a lesbian and they initially were living as two women in a relationship, but now one of them discovers they're a trans man and wants to go through that transition. The other person may or may not still be attracted to them. So it makes it really difficult to navigate these things because we're so afraid of losing the people that we love and having to make a choice between other people and ourselves. And it should never feel like that. Even though, unfortunately, sometimes that is the case, especially if you, like, I don't know, have a friend that's really homophobic or something. Might feel like a loss, but trust me, it's not if they cut you out at the end. But point being, we wanted to provide a playful, curious, fun, engaging space where y'all could go through some of these investigations and kind of dig through your psyche and your sexuality and your experiences and figure out, are you living authentically? Are you living with integrity and living as yourself out all the time? If you're not, do you want to? Is it something that right now you're not ready to share with the world? Maybe it is something that's just personal because you're just trying it out. I mean, like, I used to wear boys' clothes and I just let people pretend that I was a tomboy and I didn't say anything, right? Like, as a child wearing like 30 different colors of blue and nothing else, like those were all my outfits, were like several shades of blue. Maybe some green or teal, but like sure as fuck ain't no pink. Like, and I spent most of the time in the pond, like knee deep or like in the woods. So I basically was a puddle duck. And for some reason they kept trying to tell me I was a girl. And I'm like, pretty sure I'm not, but sure, let's go with that. Tomboy, sure, I can do that, sure. It's like sometimes you play with things and you don't feel you're ready to call attention to them. That is completely okay. We are here to support you wherever you are in your journey. Like, nobody is going to judge you for not being queer enough or not being out enough or not being sexual enough. Like, nobody in this space is going to shame you. Nobody in this space is going to judge you. And the whole point of this is that none of us really know. Like, even me, right? Even people who like seem to have their shit together, like, I just want you to know, like, gender and sexuality is a continual exploration. It's something that grows and changes with you, grows and changes with your experiences. And it's not a fixed thing. It's not directional. Not everybody who is trans wants to transition to the other side of the spectrum. Not everybody who is queer is attracted to every queer body. You know, like, sometimes there are queer people that are attracted to femininity. There are queer people that are attracted to masculinity. There are queer people that are only attracted to femininity in, male-bodied humans that don't identify as men. Like, it can get super fucking specific, but you never figure out that level of nuance if you don't start asking yourself the questions. And sometimes these questions are really scary to ask, and you don't want to do it by yourself. And that's why we're here. Me and Bunny are both people who have been interested in and studying human sexuality and gender expression, and have been like immersed in those worlds for a really long time, many years. And even if, I don't think each of us has lived like publicly out as a non-binary or gender fluid or agender human being for more than like 2 or 3 years. And in the grand scheme of things, that seems like it's still newish, right? But like, we've been living in these bodies our whole lives. So we're here to kind of provide you with resources that we wish we had in the early levels of those, or any level, right? And like any process of this exploration, it can be really challenging. We're always looking for representation. We're always looking for examples for like, tell me I'm doing this right. Tell me I'm not going to lose everyone I love. Like, please tell me that I'm not going to lose my job, like everything. Like, as we're going through these, there are real consequences for people. And we need to come together and support each other in a safe, welcoming, empowering space so that we can process and make decisions before we move into hostile spaces. It's really hard to come to any kind of discovery or realization when we're surrounded by, like, I don't know, people at work that are like, you should be behaving according to this social script. Don't let me see your ankles. Don't bend down to get a pen. Don't, like, God forbid you don't brush your hair or wear like makeup or something. I don't know. There's all kinds of like weird, like every environment we go into, every context we go into, there is a script that we're expected to perform. We get a different script depending on if we are understood to be a woman or understood to be a man, right? Like, that's how the world divides us up. It is extremely unfortunate. It really reduces our spectrum of human experience and expression. And honestly, it's one of the most detrimental aspects of patriarchal thinking, but it's fine. We're working on it, right? With events like this and experiences like this, and like the more people that are living authentically and unapologetically, the more trouble that they're going to have punishing us, because there are more of us out there. Sorry, but like, I need to just let you know, if everybody in the entire world was out as who they are, I am like 100% confident more than 50% of people would be queer or trans. Literally more than 50%. I think it's closer to probably 80%. Like, if you really do investigating, like, I had conversations with some of my grandparents, and I'm like, y'all are not as straight as you think you are. Like, sorry, like, women don't just have sex with women because that's how they learn. That's not a thing that always happens. Sometimes I have conversations with older people and I'm like, y'all just don't want to call this shit gay, and it is. Looks like this is very much a part of our heritage. And just nobody knows what to call it, or they don't want to call it what it is. It's like, yeah, you could pretend like that was for your boyfriend, or you can pretend that you were just like practicing for boys. But that's also what I said when I went to camp. I was like, all right, ladies, listen, you ever kissed a boy? No? You want to get ready? I can teach you. I could be your guinea pig. I'll give you pointers, I'll give you feedback. Like, you kiss me, and then like, by the time you actually do kiss a boy, he's gonna be mind blown. I'm like, this is my public service that I'm doing as a good straight girl. This was in like 3rd grade on the playground. I was trapping. Anyway, all this to say, there are so many mental gymnastics that we go through to feel accepted, to feel like we won't be rejected, to avoid pain. All we want is to be accepted and loved. And it's really hard to find out who you really are if you're afraid that who you really are is unlovable, or like not deserving of affection, or is like bad or wrong in some way, which is the overarching emphasis and messaging that we get about anything other than cisgendered heterosexual sexuality, is that it's gross. Even with heterosexual cisgendered sexuality, are we not constantly told that outside the union of marriage it's disgusting, that it literally will reduce the value of a human being's life? What? It's disgusting. Like, that mentality that like the amount of sexual partners you have in some way diminishes your actual worth as a human being is so toxic, so toxic. I can't tell you that I've never felt that to be true, because there were times in my life where I had partners who told me that was true and basically slut-shamed me into trying to be monogamous with them. These are all examples of the ways that when you don't know yourself, it's really easy to be bullied. Not even like people are intentionally bullying you. They might be, but they also might just be indoctrinated and like also firmly believe these damaging things. And it's up to us to like unlearn those things and then help teach other people like, hey, you don't have to be such a raging homophobe. Like, you don't actually have to put so much energy into hatred. Did you know you can get a fucking hobby? Sorry, it makes me really angry. But point being, this is how we dismantle these oppressive structures inside of ourselves, inside of our community. It's something that we do individually, and it's something that we do together. And so we're offering this community experience. We're going to try and bring together, like last year when we did the Conscious Creativity, it was so beautiful. There were people that had never really been naked in front of each other before, and we were all naked together, like doing somersaults and like making human sculptures, like stacking everybody up in this grass. And Crossing Hedgerows is this beautiful property. Like, I can't wait until next year when we're actually able to return physically to the space again. It was so amazing to immerse ourselves in nature and be exploring and like, you know, coming together for certain activities and then spreading out and exploring individually in small groups and then coming back and then, you know, eating by the fire and looking at the stars together and just like decompressing after having done, you know, movement together and having done all of these beautiful activities and sharing these experiences. And it was so special. I mean, for everything from like eating together to shooting together, we got to learn about wet plate portraits, and all these things. And so next year is going to be even bigger and better. But we wanted to bring you something that at the very least could give you a taste of what is it like to experience one of our events. It's going to be a little bit different, right? Like the group self-portrait part isn't going to be the same as it is when we're in person. But we're going to get creative and crafty, and it's still going to be a really fun time. And this way, being online, hopefully we'll be able to include a lot more people, because I know there were so many people last year that like wanted to come from Canada or wanted to come from, you know, a little bit further out west and weren't able to make it because of how far it was. Like Belleville, Michigan is like, it's not even in the main city of Detroit, right? It's like a little bit outside the city. So I'm excited to be able to welcome so many more people to this space from all over the place. And hopefully y'all will be able to make it out to Belleville next year to enjoy the actual full event, which who knows, if things keep going, maybe we'll try to make it a hybrid thing where it's partially online as well. We'll see. Either way, it's free. I hope that you make it there. Any donations that you send in, you will receive extra goodies and thank yous, maybe a recording, maybe a PDF. Who knows? Tell me what you want. We're thinking about ways to reward you and thank you for making this programming possible, because any donations that we get are going to be reinvested for next year in-person event. And there may be the opportunity also, I don't know how many people need like significant help with transportation, but if there's a need for transportation help or a need for, like, we provided equipment last year, you could rent or borrow film cameras, real cameras, tripods, all different kinds of stuff, so that even people who didn't necessarily own that equipment could still get access to the experience. So we're really passionate about making this inclusive. We're really passionate about making it accessible for you. If there's any kind of accessibility need that you have, whether it's an hearing impairment, like you need us to make sure that our lips are pointed at the screen all the time, or if there's anything else that I can do for you to help you get through this experience, to really be present and embodied, and to really participate, like, let me know. And same goes for any of our in-person events. If you're ever like, I usually try to put the accessibility needs up front, like, hey, this is up a flight of stairs, or it's first floor apartment, you can walk right in, or whatever. I try to include all that information. But if there's something I don't think of, I mean, I'm disabled in a particular way. Different disabilities like have different awarenesses and different needs, and I want to make sure that I can support you. So if there's something else that I haven't thought about that would be really helpful for you, please let me know. And if it's something that I can do, I'm going to do it for you. And all that being said, the link is in my bio and in Bunny's bio. And I hope that you will join us. I hope I get to see you there. Everybody will have the chance to talk and to be seen, and to share. But please don't feel pressured. Everything is optional. If at any point you feel anxious or uncomfortable, you don't even have to have your video on. You don't have to engage in any of this. 100% of it is optional. It's completely customizable to your comfort zone and what you want to get out of the experience. It's all for you. For real. We love you so much. I hope you have a great week. And remember, it's next Saturday, August 1st at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. See you there.